just leave it and see what happens. And yeah. See if anyone joins. I've had a few issues with the sound working on this. So the male is currently just doing his pedipalps. The female started off where she is now, and then she's gone back into her enclosure, and then she's come out. So slight worry, because if she was to make a mad dash for it, she would fall off. So I might have to sit with a tray just to catch a Stirmi. What are you doing, Boudica? I'm just going to keep my eye on them, because the male the other day was sort of trying to get out, but the wrong side. Right. So I don't know how long you're allowed to do this. Well, we'll give it 5 minutes. Oh, there is a chat thing there. Hello? No, nothing works. I'm just going to open the window slightly. It's a bit hot. Problem with having the window open at the moment in my room is barbecues. Smoke coming up. And there's a road nearby as well, so I tend to... Oh no, where's he going? Oh no. Well, that's not good. Male has run off. The light... I can stick on the light actually, if you want to see the female a bit better. There she is. I haven't got the lights on at the moment because I thought I'd keep it off while they kind of limber up or disappear, as is the case of the male. So this might not happen. What was I saying? Oh yeah, there's a road across, so cars, etc, etc. So I tend to keep the window shut. I can show you the window actually, Mr. Froggy. Yeah, so there's the window, and yeah, it's sort of quite. I mean, I just prefer to keep it shut really. But at the moment, yeah, there's a bit of a heat issue. Just the sort of air, you want to keep it fresh. So I open the window for a bit during the day, maybe leave it a crack open at night, and then shut the door or open the bedroom door. Yeah, generally just I think with trenches you want to keep the air nice and fresh. I mean, I've got quite a sensitive hooter, so I notice if it's a bit kind of, you know, if it's like musty or shit, that was a bird. Christ. Yeah, just keep it nice and fresh, and then obviously you want some nice light, daylight. But I have to shut the curtains because the sunlight in the morning almost fried some spiderlings, which, yeah, you just forget to shut the curtains at night, and if you don't get up early in the morning, the sunlight comes in and can cook the tarantulas. It's amazing how hot and, you know, direct sunlight can be, especially if it's for an hour or so. But I don't think anything's happening here. Yeah. This is just another trial run anyway, because I wanted to see if the audio works, and also, yeah, if this uploads, because previously I did a vid and it took ages, but no one could hear me, and then I tried again. I think it was with Tommy's tarantulas. This was a couple of weeks back, and I sent him a message on Facebook and said, can you give us a bit of a hand? Which he did very nicely, but he said he couldn't hear me, so I kind of gave up, really. I tried a couple of times. I don't know whether it was the audio settings or... so not right now, I could actually just be sort of talking to myself in a room with lots of tarantulas. Yeah, he's lost it. It's a slightly sort of strange time to be doing this, but with the heat and everything, you get to sort of trying to breed tarantulas at night, and you just can't be asked. Plus the football's on, and yeah, if you like been to the park or something, or you've been running, you're zonked sometimes. So sort of breeding in a hot room at the moment, yeah, not the I don't know, it's alright, it's not too bad. You kind of just sort of sweat it out a bit. Oh, I can actually see somebody is here. One person. I think, maybe. If that's the chat thingy. It says one. Yeah, there's like two little... Oh yeah, there's a head and a something icon thingy. There is a chat button to the left. Amanda. Hello. Can you hear me, Amanda? Be great, actually, if the sound does work. Oh well, at least yeah. Well, I reinstalled the app. I've been fiddling around with this for a few times now, and I kind of got it working. And then one video went off into the ether, and I thought I'd lost it. And the thing with Streamlabs is there's no kind of it just sort of disappears once you finish recording. So then I think it just goes into an auto upload mode. But it doesn't look as though you've got any footage. But then it appears, and I think it was like 4 days or something. So I'd got that last footage, the first footage. I thought, it's gone. But yeah, so I don't know I know someone will probably tell me about Streamlabs. But it's working at the moment, so yeah. And that's why I took a sort of, after the last attempt with Tommy's teas, I kind of gave up. I uninstalled the app, and I thought, well, I'll uninstall the app, reinstall the app, and then give it another go. And then 2 weeks later or something, 3 weeks later, here we are. So yeah, but I thought I'd give it a go now because I'd moved these enclosures out last night because I was doing feeding, and I thought, well, put the enclosures out like this and then set up the video camera rather than keeping them on the bed, which is probably safer in terms of them escaping, because the right hand side, if Boudica was to suddenly make a dash, I'd either have to get my arm in the way or both my hands, because she's rather huge, or I'd get the lid and then I'd catch her in the lid. Because the male was trying to get out down this corner last night, and after that happened, I just basically got the spatula and pushed him back in, and then gave up yesterday. I mean, I tried for 20 minutes. Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things. But I thought, if I'm trying, I might as well do the live stream. And that gives me something to do while I'm actually doing the actual breeding attempt. Because otherwise I sort of sit here and, read a book and I can't really, if I want to film it, I can't really sort of go on YouTube or anything and look at my phone, because the phone is set up waiting to film. So I kind of read a book, but then in the heat, you're just a bit sort of like, it's easier, obviously, I think what I'm trying to say, cut long story short, I'm trying to basically say that, yeah, it's easier for me to stand up and chat for about 20 minutes or so while I'm doing the actual attempt. It's just more fun, or in this case, uneventful. But there's Boudica anyway. It's just the first couple of times, well, the times that, well, I think it's been like 3-4 times they've sort of come together, but just looks as though the male maybe didn't quite have the strength to, or didn't quite manage it. It's with Stirmies anyway, the size, he's got to basically really lift her up, and of course she's quite a bit heavier than him. So yeah, it's I think it's definitely, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm going to ask maybe some other breeders, but I wonder if they'll agree with me and say that, yeah, Stirmies, in terms of the actual act, it's more like tricky just due to the size. You know what I mean? It's like bulky tarantulas, whereas maybe smaller tarantulas, I don't know, find it easier to breed. That's just a theory. I mean, I'm just guessing. So yeah, the male is, yeah. Doesn't seem interested. So yeah. Yeah, she doesn't seem to want to eat him particularly. She seems quite cool, actually. She's one of my pride and joys, because when I first got her, and then for a year or so, she was a bit kind of flicky and a bit kind of jumpy, but now she's just like super chilled. I could just quite easily put a roach next to her and she'll take it off the tongs. And she doesn't kick hairs. At least she hasn't kicked hairs for a while. The problem is obviously rehousing and stuff. But yeah, the other day when they were breeding, I had to break them apart, and they were like hissing, both of them, to say like, we don't like this. But I was like, well, I don't want the male to get eaten. But they didn't flick hairs, which, I don't know, is strange. Because usually you think, well, if they're pissed off, they would kick hairs and hiss, which I have seen before, hissing and kicking. But no, but they didn't. So, yeah, generally being quite chilled. But I think, yeah, that time when they were hissing and kissing, which they were kissing at the moment, but they, I think it just felt like they were just, it was kind of like a failed breeding, so they were kind of pissed off. Yeah, it was like frustration. It's like, didn't quite hit the, anyway, better not go into sort of juicy details. But yeah, but I think it was definitely kind of, well, they were both in a bad mood, but as soon as I saw she was like in a bad mood, I went and got some food, and then she just completely obliterated a roach. I mean, she does do some amazing takedowns, but God, that time, God, it was just like, quick, get me like the biggest hamburger. I'm just gonna, rah. But yeah. Anyway. One other thing while I'm here, I'll mention my other breeding project. I've decided to send off the Formosa, because I've put him in a few times and nothing seems to be happening. But I might live stream that actually, as a last kind of attempt to perhaps show them. And see if, maybe last time lucky sort of thing. But he'll go on to someone else for a 50-50, and then someone else was interested, and I got him basically as a breeding pair, but I don't know quite how old he was. I should really have asked, but he came kind of looking, it's hard to say really, but I kind of get the impression that he's no spring chicken. So I'm not going to ask any real money for him, and 50-50 is obviously, yeah, if it works out, it works out. But with the Formosa, she doesn't seem, she'll just stay in her court part. And she did eat last week, so that could be a bit annoying. It means that perhaps she isn't gravid, because she didn't eat for ages. So I thought, yeah, they're not breeding, but she's not eating, which is a good sign. But yeah, I'd have to get some more advice maybe on pokies. But they can be tricky, I've heard. You'll either get the male eaten, or they just won't be successful. But it's all a learning experience. And I think my general plan is just not to, get too stressed by it and take it all like, well, I'm going to learn and see what happens, and learn by experience rather than forcing the issue, which I have done with a few other teas, but then that was because the male was, I knew he was old. For example, with my Idiophyte Mirror, I knew that the male was old. I tried to sell him, didn't have any luck, and then it was Christmas, and then I thought, well, I found a female, and then she took ages to molt, which was really frustrating. So by that stage, the male was coming up to a year old. So I thought, well, put him in with the female more, and then eventually, he was eaten, but did produce a sac, and that's happened with OBTs as well, because sometimes you can't actually get the OBT out very easily because they're fast, and you don't really want to, lose the male, because male OBTs are pretty shocking. I mean, I've sent like 4 this year, and I've had 2 escape, and it's not a it's not a good thing. But because once they're off, they're off. Yeah, I mean, Deadly Tarantula Girl. She does do that sort of spraying down, and then she'll basically bung the 2 of them in together. And I did try that. I did that exact thing as you say. Yeah. And what I did was I got the. Yeah. A friend Lars. He also said that. Yeah, and I've been doing that with the Stirmies. I'm giving them a good soak. So I'm probably just going to leave them to it now, actually. So I'll probably end the stream, and then we'll let it upload and see what happens, because I don't think anything's happening here, really. And what I'll do is I'll water down the Stirmies, and I'll also water down the P. formosas. And then I might give them a go tonight, but there is football on. So I might be able to squeeze it in, actually. It'll be football's on at 5, which is 6:30 ish, and the other game is on at 8. So I suppose I could slip in a sort of 15-20 minuter. Yeah, in both cases, Amanda. The first day, the Formosa started tapping as soon as I got him close to the female, and then I put him in, and I left them to it. And then when I came back in, they were both out, and I don't know whether I spooked them as I opened the door, which was perhaps a bit of a mistake on my part, because sometimes pokies are just so jumpy. If you go through, slightest open the door, they'll move, and they'll be in the, I had one Tigger in a Waselli, and it was in the corner, and I never saw it, and I figured it out, actually, because I crept in once, and literally I got halfway across the room, and then it went, and it's that sensitive. So what happened with the Formosas was, I think they might have bred, because then I noticed, and I'll try and show you later if I can if I come on for a live stream later, is his pedipalp, I think, got damaged, because it looks a bit funny. There's like a kind of bit hanging off. So I don't know whether it was because they were breeding, and then suddenly she got spooked and just completely went whoosh, and then that's why they were separated, because of that, you know. I don't know, because then since then he hasn't tapped at all. So, but he was tapping literally within, you know, the first you know, hour or two, sort of thing. And that happened with the Stirmies. Literally, I got the mail, unboxed him, put him in the enclosure, and then left them to it, sort of thing. Left the lids on, and then came back into the tarantula room, and then Boudica here, I could hear her tapping. So I thought, what? I thought that's weird. Open the lid, and then yeah, as you saw in that video, she just climbed straight in, and that was within hours, which is quite bizarre. I'd never really thought that would happen, and the same thing happened with both of them. But then since then, the Formosas have done nothing, but then the Stirmies have actually tried again, which because this one chap said, yeah, I didn't think the first time was a insertion. He said it, you know, maybe 50-50, and that was my kind of gut feeling as well. So because this guy's you know, he's been doing it for 15 years, and he's produced, I think, 3 or so Stirmi sacks at least. So yeah, he's a really handy guy to know. So if I have any sort of questions, I can just it's the same chap I got my Pamphobetius antinus breeding pair from. Oh, by the way, my Pamphobetius antinus has hooked, I believe. So I'm waiting on the female. So that could be another project along with my agens. And then I'm waiting on my P. cancerides. So I've got that, and I've also still got my mirror females who are ready to go. And I just need to find a male. Well, soonish. And then, what was the other one? And then Salmopoeus langenbuscheri, I figured out is actually an adult female, because I was expecting it to be 6 inches, but I found out they only grow to 5 inches, and the one I've got is 5 inches, but it's taken ages to molt. So but I've never seen a male, so it's going to be very unlikely I can breed that one. Maybe I have to ask around and see if I can get a male of that species. So that's another project. So I've got like 4 maybe, and then the Harmori as well. That could be ready to breed this year, but stopped eating and won't molt for love nor money. And then I've got, of course, the P. metallicas. Anyway, we'll stop the stream. I'll just show you the P. metallicas actually, because sorry about the squeak. Quick look at the P. mets, but I don't think anything's happening here. Maybe I've done too much talking, and they don't like my they don't like the talking. But didn't stop her before actually. Boudica. Just show you, yeah, the P. mets. There they both are. Nice. If we can get a look at the blues. The blues there, the undercarriage. Hey, actually, if anyone can venturally sex my tarantula, is that a male or a female? But these two time, which is really, really cool, and they're tongue feeding as well. So yeah, quick little tarantula tour to finish. The Lagunas babies, I've kept 8 OBTs, and then the male agen. And then at the back we've got big Cancerides, and then Lagunas, a few Lasiodoras. We've got the Pamphobetius antinus down there. We've got a few Phomictopus, more slings. Oh, and there's Mini Amanda. Oh yeah, I've got to show you little Mini Amanda. Oh, can you see Mini Amanda? Oh, I think. Whoops, I was getting rather close to Boudica there. I don't know where Mini Amanda's gone. I think Mini Amanda's under the hide. Right. Well, thanks for coming along, Amanda. I'll try and get some more footage later. I'm going to go and have a nasty sweaty run, and then I might Oh, crap. Oopsie daisy. Anyway, I'm going to press pause. Having a few technical issues here. Yeah, I'll show you Amanda, mini Amanda, when she's molted. I'm going to try and see if she wants to feed later, because hasn't molted and hasn't fed. So, yeah. Oh, I've also got a mini, what's it called? One of the mirrors survived, but he's a bit of a sort of gimp. So, well, it's strange because he didn't molt very well, but he's still eating. So it's kind of like hope number 2. So I've survived. I kind of saved 2 spiderlings from the egg sacs of doom, as it were. Yeah, I know, it's a shame. That egg sac looked good, and then it just went wrong. So yeah, I don't know where. Maybe I got it too moist in there. But then why did 4 of them survive and then the other eggs not hatch? I don't know. So yeah, right, must stop. Cheers. Adios. Oops. Ah, crap. Can't